Hey, it's Dakota Cowboy here on Beck TV, brought to you by Dakota Community Bank and Trust. I'm Wild Bill, the media director at the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame in historic Medora. You know, it has been about 3 decades since Mandan has had its own rodeo arena. And with the commitment of local businesses, the 144th Mandan Rodeo is going to be held at the new state-of-the-art facility known as the Dale Polkey Arena. It'll serve as a premier destination for rodeo events, concerts, and other community gatherings. Dale Polkey, the president and CEO of Dakota Community Bank and Trust, says, "We really appreciate the community for stepping up to support this project. We feel it's a great opportunity for the region." You'll hear more details soon about the Dale Polkey Arena being constructed in Mandan. The North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame annual meeting is coming up February 17th and 18th in Minot. We hope you can attend. Board member and Hall of Honorees inductee Steve Tomac joins us again to remind you about what a great job the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame does to promote the history and preserve the history of the great state of North Dakota.
If you're interested in North Dakota heritage, if you're interested in the history of North Dakota, whether it be rodeo or Native American or ranchers of a certain time frame, the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame is the one that's trying to capture this history and enshrine it in this little museum, if you will, and we make a very, the staff and the board make a very conscientious effort to change the museum every year. So if you were here last year or the year before, if you come back, you might see some of the same stuff, but you're not going to see a repeat. There will always be something new here. And so, because there's so much history to repeat, if you wanted to research the history of some long rider or some cowboy or somebody that we've got the history for, we've got that on a kiosk that you can go to and look that history up. There's so many things to do here. I can't oversell this. Yes. I can't oversell this prize. And like I said a little bit earlier in the interview, Bill, this is one of a kind. There's no other state in the nation that's done as good a job about capturing the history about the Western heritage as North Dakota has.
Join Steve and myself and everybody from the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame at the annual meeting coming up February 17th and 18th in Minot. On the program today, we're going to visit with Codi Ann Miller. Codi is the Miss Rodeo North Dakota National Director. We visited with her at Lindsey Miller's coronation as she got the crown for Miss Rodeo North Dakota 2023. She received that crown from Miss Rodeo North Dakota 2022, Elise Burwell, who we have a great conversation with, and she wrote an essay called "And God Made North Dakota." She's going to recite that, and we are going to show you some beautiful images of the great state of North Dakota from our friends at ND Tourism. Elise finished in the top 10 at the Miss Rodeo America competition, where one of the judges was our North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame Hall of Honoree inductee of the week this week, Brenda Lee Bonagofsky-Pickett. And our inductee of the week is brought to you by Torgerson Automotive. So we got a lot to do today. Let's get after it, shall we? Go ahead and fill your cup up with cocoa or whatever you need to keep you going, and we'll be right back on Dakota Cowboy, brought to you by Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
Finish Line Automotive Addictions is the place to get any accessory for your vehicle. This winter, protect your truck and everything in it with a new toolbox, custom bed cap, or tonneau cover. Come see us for custom fit floor mats, Nerf bars, and mud flaps. Finish Line has the latest remote start tech with miles of range or smartphone access from anywhere. Let Finish Line Automotive Addictions get you ready for winter at 1824 East Main in Bismarck.
Ladies of Another View in a hometown near you,
where we visit the small towns around North Dakota.
The quilt shop was going to be closing, and I asked if they would be willing to sell. 13 years ago, we started Quilt Essentials,
highlighting the jewels of the prairie while sharing untold and forgotten stories.
The first original treaty, we were one tribe between us and the Sistinawattanoyate, broken down into two, and then they placed us here.
Wednesdays at 4:30 Central on Beck and Beck.News.
Man has worked in sync with Mother Nature since the beginning of time. Relying on her to provide sufficient moisture every growing season is a roll of the dice. You can now insure your pastures and rangelands with Rainfall Index policy available from Chamely Financial. This will give you the peace of mind by knowing you will be protected from the adverse effects of Mother Nature. Contact Chamely Financial today, 719-338-3428, or go to chamelyfinancial.com.
We are rewriting Hollywood's script for our kids. I'm pop culture expert Tina Griffin, and as a former Hollywood actress, I'm giving you a behind-the-scenes look at how today's entertainment is eroding the foundational development of America's youth and how to safely navigate this pop culture chaos. Knowledge is power. Parents want solutions. It's time to get the power back in your hands and reclaim the right to decide who and what should influence your kids.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV. Now you can have the personalized forecast at your fingertips when you need it. Beck's exclusive Weather Insight is information tailored to you. Radar, weather alerts, forecasts, and videos. Download the free Weather on Beck News app. Search your app store now.
Hi, Rich from Law Motors. 45 years ago, Dad started selling cars. 35 years ago, I started selling cars. And 15 years ago, Tyler started selling cars.
And I'm Mom, and I told all of them, just be nice.
JR's Auto Body and Truck Collision has built a reputation as one of the most reputable and reliable body shops in this region. With nearly 30 years in business, customers count on JR's to get it done right the first time. They'll work with your insurance company to smoothen the process. From their 40-foot frame straightening machine, Sickens paint, and the latest technology in the repair industry, they're the only name you need to know. For auto, semi, RV, and trailer repair, it's JR's Auto Body and Truck Collision. North Dickinson, call 701-483-6778. JR's Auto Body and Truck Collision. Hey, we're back on Dakota Cowboy here on Beck TV, brought to you by Dakota Community Bank and Trust. You know the folks at Dakota Community Bank and Trust, they know you.
Oh, I do. It's always a small world. I know they back in the day, they bought my 4-H steers and my 4-H animals.
They did.
And it's just kind of neat to have everything come full circle. And Dale is such a great supporter of my junior high and high school rodeo queens, and such a supporter of our sport of rodeo.
You bet. That's Dakota Community Bank and Trust to a T. This is my good friend, Miss Codi Ann Miller,
Hello.
Miss Rodeo North Dakota 2014, and now you are the National Director for the Miss Rodeo North Dakota organization. Here at Lindsey Miller's coronation ceremony at the barn in Burlington, North Dakota. Just got done with the auction. She made bank tonight, didn't she?
Yeah, she had so many great supporters, and that's truly what is so important for these girls. I mean, it's a life-changing event for them, but for the community, I feel like it's such an uplifting, exciting thing. Coming from Amadon and Bowman, my community was amazing to help me get on the road, and Lindsey had that here too.
The funds that she raises tonight, I mean, you made an announcement right before the coronation that she's going to be putting on 30,000 miles this year.
She's expected to put on 30,000 miles, and I know if she becomes Miss Rodeo America, the next one, they're expected to put on about 100,000 miles. So it's just a dip in the water of what she could expect if she wins that national title.
I was talking to the young lady from Hankinson tonight, and it seems like, you know, looking at Lindsey, we've watched her, you know, she started out as Miss North Dakota Winter Show, and now she's Miss Rodeo North Dakota. I think in the last 2 years, she got about 6 inches taller. And the young lady from Hankinson said, well, that's her confidence. It just seems that way. She's just holding herself different. Can you explain that?
Well, I think too, we need to go back. Lindsey, one of the first titles she ever had was the White Earth Rodeo.
That's right.
So she's represented a lot of the great rodeos that are inducted into the Cowboy Hall of Fame and a part of it. And so I remember when I was Miss Rodeo North Dakota in 2014, seeing her as a young girl, and then getting to that stage, she competed in high school rodeo and for the high school queen. And she didn't win that title. She competed for Miss Rodeo North Dakota the first time and didn't win that title. But she came back, and I just saw the growth, and I think the biggest thing anybody can learn from Lindsey is what endurance can do, and that can grow confidence within itself, because I can truly tell she knows who she is. She's now a published author, and the story that she has behind that is really special. I'm sure she'll get to talk to you about that, but she has this big goal of attending and visiting every school in North Dakota, and it's really exciting for me. I can relate so much with Lindsey because that was a big goal of mine, especially rural schools, because that's part of our jobs. You get to be a role model for people, not just in your small community, but across the state. So I'm super excited for Lindsey. I can see that confidence, but I think her getting to represent as a young girl to the time she is now, you can just see how she's so at peace with who she is, and that's really fun to see.
Very comfortable in her own skin. Yes, that's another thing that I've noticed. I know, I don't want to take anything away from Elise, but when she was crowned Miss Rodeo North Dakota, you could see the disappointment in Lindsey's face, and I said, grow from this, and boy, grow she did, and I equated it to Clint Bronger, who spoke at our season premiere last spring. He once told me he learned more in 7.5 seconds than he did in 8. He almost rode Bodacious for the world title, but he learned more from getting bucked off, and I think that's kind of what Lindsey did. She went back and she worked her tail off, and boy, look at her now.
Yeah, it's such a special moment to come full circle. I shared tonight with people too. I remember when I was emceeing the Miss Rodeo North Dakota pageant, when we had it with the Wisemans up in Minot, and her mother were in the stands just watching and taking everything in and writing notes down, and she was probably 16 at the time, so she had a lot of time left till she was eligible for this title. And I visited with them, and she knew exactly what she wanted to be when she grew up, and that was to be Miss Rodeo North Dakota. So that's that one big thing I can resonate with her so much, is that was my goal, and that's all I truly wanted in my life. And it's exciting to see that she reached that, and I think that's special that she's getting to represent the dream that she's always had, but she's worked hard for it.
Another observance that I made, it seems like it's not just her on this journey. Her dad is down there. Her mom, Denise, is down there,
her siblings, and
yeah. It's a family journey. Her sister, Kale, she seems really excited that her big sister is Miss Rodeo North Dakota, and everybody's lending a hand, pitching in to help her do what she has to do. Did you experience that too?
Oh yeah. No, I came from such a cool community that I was trying to reflect too on what my coronation was like when I had it in Bowman, and there's so many special moments I had, but I had so many people that traveled all over the state. I remember it being 20 below or colder, but they still showed up. And so that really tells you that the impact that those people have on your life, that you just want to give back to them. So I can just tell, even Lindsey mentioned that tonight. She's like, I got to do this for you guys too. And I think that's a big driver in the success throughout the year.
Moving ahead, we were talking earlier before we turned the cameras on here tonight that you are the director of the national director of Miss Rodeo North Dakota. You're encouraging membership in your organization, and you're about to have a presence on your website to do just that. Explain, why do you want members, and why should we become a member?
I think over the last few years, I think about since 2018, 2019, we've been in this growing stage of our organization, and I just remember my mother used to be on the board, Nancy Bateman. There was so many women whose now daughters are on the board, and it's just this building stage, and so we really do need to rebuild our membership. But I think the most important thing is our 70th anniversary is coming up, and we want to be able to grow that membership to make it feasible to give to our current royalty, but we want to be able to recognize and honor those women who paved the way for what we have now today.
I see. Okay, great. Before we let you go, Codi, is there anything that you would like to tell our viewers? Perhaps there's a question that I didn't ask, or is there a message that you would like to get out to them?
Well, it's just kind of funny because tonight, little Medora, is it Thor's last name? But Medora.
The little gal with the glasses.
And I know
so
the Hall of Fame has represented, I just don't want to say her last name wrong, but she's still a sweetheart, and it was so touching tonight. Her mom said, "You're going to be in the sweetheart pageant again, right?" And she's 3, and you just can't believe it, the confidence and such in this little girl. And I know I spoke with some other people. I said, "Medora, I think I need to get you on TV someday." And she's like, "What?" And just lit up. But what I'm most excited about is I want everybody to go to our fairs and our rodeos across the state of North Dakota and see little rodeo queens. And I feel like when I was Miss Rodeo North Dakota, there was a handful of us, but I just want to build this army of young girls who believe in themselves and have this confidence to speak to a group and are proud of being cowgirls. And so I know we talk about our current Miss Rodeo North Dakota, but I love building this little group of women who are little girls who will grow up one day to be really strong women, and that's just something very special to me. So if anybody's interested or know a little girl between the ages of 3 and 12 in Medora, during the induction we'll have our Sweetheart Pageant again, and that's a fundraiser for our scholarship program.
You've done such a wonderful job in getting these little girls fired up about rodeo royalty. Not only that, but you know, the partnership that we've developed between Miss Rodeo North Dakota and the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. When they presented that to us, I was telling somebody tonight, when they presented that, I said, well, geez, that just makes too darn much sense.
Yes.
You know, and it has. It's working great, and each and every year it's getting bigger and bigger. I believe the date is June 17th, 2023. Make plans to come to Medora to see this young lady and her hard work and all the beautiful little rodeo sweethearts, and Miss Rodeo North Dakota 2024. It's all cyclical, isn't it?
It is kind of funny when you think about it. These young women dedicate not just a year of their life, they dedicate a big chunk of their life to this. And ultimately, my goal is that they can be professional agriculture business women in our state and make a difference, just like the Hall of Fame does for us.
Codi Ann Miller, the National Director for Miss Rodeo North Dakota, thank you for your time today. I appreciate that so much.
Yes.
All
Thank you,
righty.
Bill.
We'll be back on Dakota Cowboy in just a jiffy here on Beck TV, brought to you by Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
Improve your home or business with services from Zaka Remodeling and Construction. Whether you need windows or doors repaired, replaced, or installed for your residential or commercial property, Zaka Remodeling and Construction can help. Our local and family-owned business offers flexible hours and over 10 years of experience in the industry. We are your local Pella expert. Pella is rated #1 in highest quality and innovation by homeowners across the country. Feel confident when you choose Pella and Zaka Remodeling. Contact us today for a free estimate. Zaka Remodeling and Construction.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
I invite you to stop at Dakota Community Bank and Trust and meet our professional insurance agents. They offer numerous lines of insurance, including farm, ranch, federal crop and hail, commercial, home and auto. As an independent agency, they offer product solutions from a wide variety of companies. Our insurance professionals would like to get to know you and visit about your insurance needs.
Serving the community, looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Medora Boot and Western Wear, open year-round in historic Medora. You'll find quality items for cowboys and cowgirls of all ages. Medora Boot and Western Wear has over 1,500 pair of boots on hand at all times. New this year, the R. Watson brand of boot, featuring an all-leather heel, riveted shank, and a 10-iron leather sole. Jeans, shirts, hats, caps, and more, and customer service is #1. Medora Boot and Western Wear in historic Medora.
Medora Boot and Western Wear.
Let the Little Missouri Saloon and Dining add to your historic Medora experience. Open 7 days a week. Enjoy family dining at its best on our main floor, as well as the upper dining room and outdoor patio with a fabulous view of Medora and the Badlands. Try the bison ribeye, delicious pizza, and an entire menu filled with fabulous food for all appetites. A full bar with an impressive list of tap beer and more adult beverage favorites. Visit us at littlemosaloon.com and look for live music events happening regularly. History lives at the Little Missouri Saloon and Dining in historic Medora. Y'all come see us now, you hear?
Ladies of Another View in a hometown near you,
where we visit the small towns around North Dakota.
The quilt shop was going to be closing and I asked if they would be willing to sell. 13 years ago we started Quilt Essential.
Highlighting the jewels of the prairie while sharing untold and forgotten stories.
The first original treaty, we were one tribe between us and the Sistenawak-Wampanoag, broken down into 2, and then they placed us here.
Wednesdays at 4:30 Central on Beck and Beck.News.
Welcome back to Dakota Cowboy here on Beck TV. We are brought to you each and every week by our great friends at Dakota Community Bank and Trust. We're here at the Killdeer Saddle Club multi-function room. We're here. It's empty today, but 13 months ago, this was a flurry of activities, all for this young lady. It's Miss Rodeo North Dakota 2022, Elise Burwell. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Yeah, it's your day off today, and you took time out to visit with us, and I just want you to know that we greatly appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see, you've been competing. You competed for 17 years, 9 different titles, culminating with Miss Rodeo North Dakota 2022 and a top 10 finish as Miss Rodeo America. You have to feel just ecstatic about that.
Oh, I really do. I was kind of thinking that on the way down here too. It's all the things leading up to that one moment at the end. You know, being a state queen is an amazing opportunity. Very grateful for that. But it's everything that led up to that moment to be able to get to do that, and then to finalize and place in the top 10 at Miss Rodeo America. And I was the same person as I am today throughout the entire week. I showed them who I was, I showed them who North Dakota was, and just really proud of myself overall.
What was the first title that you ever had? I think it's like we said you had 9 titles. What was the first one? You started competing at a very young age.
Yes, I actually got into it when I was about 4 years old, and it was our local saddle club was adding pageants, and Lisa Wilm was the director, and that's how I got to know her, so she coached me throughout years. But my very first title was the Hankinson Saddle Club Rodeo Princess. I do want to make a note that I was the very last rodeo princess. After that, they just went to a horse show. But that was my first step in the door, and raised a bunch of money that year so that we could still continue on with having an event on that same weekend in Hankinson, and they've still continued it to this day.
As you competed, did you feel your confidence build as the years went by?
Oh, absolutely. There's just some things now it doesn't even faze me to do. You know, sit here and have this interview, sit in front of a crowd and give a speech. I mean, it's all things that just come with time and repetition and practice, and getting out there and just being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah,
do you find yourself craving, you know, the microphone, craving to get up there and tell people your story, whatever it may be?
Yeah, I have to kind of tone myself down every once in a while. Now that, you know, my year is done, you know, time to just kind of work behind the scenes and help out, to help girls improve and succeed. But, you know, we all come from something, we all have a story, and we can all learn from each other and different backgrounds, and it's always fun to hear how we all got into it too. Yeah.
Coming back here, that night was January 1st, I believe. We just had a brand new year, 2022. You took over for Callie Lee Enander, who held the title for 2 years due to the pandemic and things. Talk about that night and what it's like to come back here today. Yeah, I mean, it's just got to be, there's got to be some emotion there, I would think.
Yeah, it's absolutely surreal. I still look around, and actually the lights on the ceiling, those are permanent. Those have been up here. They had a wedding a few years ago, and they just left them up, and it really worked into my theme, which was denim and diamonds. So kind of bringing the Western aspect with the glam of being a rodeo queen. And just looking back, the people that showed up then and who continued throughout the year to support me and, you know, reach out if I ever needed help with anything, needed someone to talk to. And that night, what people don't understand is that coronation is very stressful. There's a lot of weight in our shoulders, because the one question that we have in the back of our minds, you know, months leading up to it, and especially that night, is, am I going to raise enough money? Because that is their biggest fundraiser, and without that fundraiser, we can't really support our year. Being Miss Rodeo North Dakota or any state queen is considered an unpaid internship, so all the expenses that go into it have to come from somewhere, but we don't get paid to do it. So that fundraiser is a huge deal.
Yes, as I learned at Lindsey's coronation earlier this month, why I think it's like 35,000 miles you girls put on over the year from Maine to Spain. I mean, it's, you know, you get the crown and it's hammered down.
It is, yeah. So my coronation was on January 1st, and I left, I was supposed to leave that following Monday for a stock show, for National Western Stock Show, but I got sick, and they had some storm weather, so they pushed back their parade and stuff, so I didn't actually leave until the 7th, but it was a busy, the first 3 months are extremely busy, hit the ground running.
Two of my favorite memories of Elise Burwell, at our spring premiere, we always display our new displays for the year, and we showcase those. You walked into the rodeo room at the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame, walked up to where your picture was displayed, and it was like handing a little girl a new puppy. You were just so overcome by that. Talk about that.
Oh, it makes me even tear up just thinking about it now. Yeah, that was one thing after I knew I was crowned Miss Rodeo North Dakota and that 2022 was going to be my year. I never thought, you know, something on my bucket list was to be in the Cowboy Hall of Fame. I never thought that was something I'd want, and after I realized that my name's going to be in there forever, my picture's going to be there for an entire year, it just hit me that, wow, I get to be a part of that legacy and part of the history of what North Dakota is.
Another memory that I have of you was at this arena just down the hill from here, July 4th, and you had a spirited Palomino horse that kind of was a little bucky, and you handled it well. I got goosebumps just thinking about that. That had to have been a lot of fun, and you got a lot of great photo ops on that too, didn't you?
I did. That was really fun, and it was kind of different. So usually when we carry flags, we come in, we go to the right, essentially going the left way around the arena. But with how that arena is set up, and Anthony Lucia is our announcer, and he wanted me to come in to the left, going around to the right. And thankfully we avoided all the bucking stock and everything, so she was okay until we had to stand still, and then she couldn't see any more of her friends. So I got a little nervous and reared up, but it was perfect timing, and that's how some things work out. I always flash back to when I was the junior queen for North Dakota Winter Show, and we had, at that time, 3 girls on each side would face the crowd, and then the contestants would come through in serpentine, and as the end of the line came by, you jump in and continue out. And I was the second to last flag, and my horse got really nervous. It's very loud in that building. All the clapping and cheering just builds in there. And he got nervous, and he stood straight up, took about 5 steps, and came down right behind the...
Were you carrying the flag at the time?
I was carrying the flag, yeah. And I was a tiny little girl. I mean, this was 2012, 10 years ago, or almost, I guess, 13 now, or 11 years. But yeah, so just kind of reflecting on those things of, you know, those crazy things happen, but it's the right timing. Nobody knows that it wasn't supposed to happen or it wasn't an accident, and you just continue on and keep smiling.
Okay. Then that's, you know, all year long, from the 4th of July all the way through the fall rodeos and, you know, into the winter. You were on the road, and then you went to a place called Las Vegas and the Miss Rodeo America contest. We should note that Miss Rodeo North Dakota 1982, who went on to become Miss Rodeo America 1983. Brenda Lee Bonagofsky Pickett was one of the judges. She's an inductee into the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame in 2017. I would think that she was probably a little reserved as far as, you know, saying anything, but did she give you a nod or anything like that? Did you communicate with her?
Yeah, it was actually really cool. In our personal interview, that was our first chance to really get to meet the judges one-on-one and you know, introduce ourselves. That was right away on Monday, and walked in, you know, gave everyone a handshake, and she went to go shake my hand. She's like, "Hey, girlfriend." So that was really cute and really fun. But it was. I mean, I remember the moment she walked into the room that morning on Sunday. We just checked in, taken our written test, taken our pictures, and all the judges walked in, and she was introduced as, "We have a past Miss Rodeo America, Miss Pickett." And nobody else had recognized her name, and they didn't know who she was, and I was fangirling. I was freaking out in the back row, like, oh my gosh, that's Brenda Lee right there. So to get to spend that week with her, and you know, got to have different lunches and breakfasts with her as well, and just to get to know her, I'd understand why she was Miss Rodeo America. She's an icon.
And your picture was next to hers in the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame all year long. Yes. Wow. So, you know, you go through that contest, and that's got to be grueling. That's you're up at, you know, 4:35 in the morning, and it's all day long. Talk about competing for Miss Rodeo America. What was that competition like?
Truly, it's nothing like I've ever expected or prepared for. Competing for North Dakota or any other title, to go to Miss Rodeo America is a completely different ballgame. It's definitely, the production aspect is a big part of it, and they put you under a lot of pressure because Miss Rodeo America is under a lot of pressure. That's where the early mornings, late nights. I would say probably 80% of our time was spent in dance rehearsal, so that fashion show could be on point and absolutely perfect how they wanted it to be. And it is a lot of moving parts in that fashion show. We were split into 3 different groups, and we had different rehearsals for each one, different dance routines for each group. It was just a lot that went into it. And then the other crazy thing too is, and yes, that pageant's 8 days long, but the only one-on-one time we get with those judges is about 25 minutes. I had 10 minutes on Monday for a personal interview and 15 minutes on Tuesday for horsemanship. And any other time I saw the judges was on stage for an event or a question, or at a breakfast where we rotated. We each got to have a breakfast with a judge. We just kind of rotated out. So that's kind of a different aspect of it. You really got to come ready and prepared, confident in who you are and what you want to show those judges on who you are and what you come from. And I'm very proud of myself that I did that.
We're proud of you too. Yes, amazing, because top 10 finish. At what point, when they announced the top 10, did they announce Miss Rodeo North Dakota Elise Burwell? Was it number 10, or was it halfway through, or where was it?
I think it was towards the end.
Okay.
I want to say it was like 6th or 7th. I can't remember exactly.
They called your name. What happened? You just had the butterflies had to just come flying.
It was a relief because I knew I did good all week. I was very proud of myself. No matter what happened, you know, I didn't need that validation that I did good. I was super proud of myself. But to hear my name, like, no, yes, I actually did it. I really did do good. And actually, Miss Rodeo Arizona was right to my left. We were right on the edge of the stage. And before that curtain had closed, she looked over me and gave me a wink and said, "I'll see you down there." And so then I got called, and she was called shortly after me. So when we walked by, you know, gave her a squeeze of the hand, and you know, we did the same as we got down in the front row. It was just really fun.
A very successful career in pageantry, if you will. I mean, you know, 9 titles over 17 years, top 10 finishes, Miss Rodeo America. Where do you see your experiences taking you as you know, gain, you know, going forward here? What do you see, you know, some of the assets that you're going to take with you?
Yeah, I have always been told I have a lot of knowledge about the rodeo queen, rodeo world industry, and I've been in for a long time, so it's hard not to have that experience and build on that knowledge. I did start a podcast last year, just briefly, and I'm hoping to continue with that. Last year was very busy, and it's hard to kind of stay focused with everything all at once. So I'm hoping now that a little more downtime to continue with that podcast and educational series about rodeo and everything that goes into it. But I'm looking to expand it. Haven't officially made an announcement on the public yet, but I'll tell you today.
Okay.
So I'm going to expand that into a Rodeo Queen test subscription. So girls can
wonderful.
They can sign up every month. They'll have a new test, just kind of really build on that knowledge. And that's one thing I told the judges in America too, that and everyone else, you know, throughout this year is we can look the part, we can, you know, put on the fancy clothes and the hair and the makeup, and you know, we can climb on a horse, but there's a lot that goes under that foundation. You know, being able to talk in front of a crowd, being able to have the knowledge about what you're representing, your organization, the sport of rodeo. I think that's super important, and I really want to build on that and have that be a standard for girls.
Speaking of the fancy clothes, you've got a dress that you designed with all the brands on it that you mentioned that you intended to donate to the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. Tell us about that dress.
Yeah, that was my fashion show dress, essentially, for the North Dakota pageant in 2021, almost 2 years ago now. It's wild.
Yeah.
And I had an idea of what I was going to do, and about 2 weeks before pageant, I had another idea that I've always wanted to do something with brands. And so I thought, well, I got 2 weeks, I can put it together. And so I actually gathered brands from people who influenced me or part of North Dakota's history in the Western world or rodeo. People were inducted that year into the Hall of Fame, just, I mean, a bunch of different brands, as many as I could get. And I got some paint from Walmart, and I used a Q-tip, and I painted brands onto the skirt of that dress.
It's a wonderful dress, and we'll see it one day at the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. Wonderful, and thank you for that. That's an amazing, amazing dress. I can't wait for everybody to see it. I wasn't quite honest when I said that there were a couple of memories that stand out. There's one more that stands out that I really, really like a lot. It was an essay or a poem called And God Made North Dakota.
Yes.
What was the purpose of writing that?
So I had competed for North Dakota in 2015, and at that time we still had prepared speeches. And so we had one for our platform and then one about the state of North Dakota. And I was young, and the title I had required me to compete for North Dakota, and so I was just going in for the experience and kind of hit a writer's block, trying to figure out what I was going to write. And it wasn't until my mom and I had came out to Western North Dakota, actually the Bar X Ranch, Doug Tesher. We used to go out there every Labor Day to go ride. And I remember telling my mom, like, oh, this is God's country. And that's when it clicked in my head, like, there's my topic for my speech for North Dakota. And that was around the same time that So God Made a Farmer speech had been released. And so I'm like, well, I can do a different rendition. So I threw that together in about 4 days. And right after pageant was done, I knew I could make it better. And so I had made a rendition of it and made it a little bit better. Brought in a lot of different aspects of North Dakota. So I grew up in the southeast corner where we always joke that it's so flat you can watch your dog run away for 3 days. And so I pulled in parts of that, our Red River Valley, our grasslands, our farming, ranching, and ended it on the west side of the state with our Badlands. But then after that, Miss Rodeo America and the state organization stopped doing prepared speeches. So I was never actually able to deliver that speech or present it in front of a crowd. So I took advantage of it at the North Dakota pageant last year. I had my chaps made kind of as a roadmap based off of that speech. So they're an old batwing style, old school cool is what I call them. And they're made by Ron Deteen with hay belly leather out of Wheatland, North Dakota. But they have wild horses on one side, they got a cow-calf pair. The tooling down the side represents the rivers of North Dakota. The floral is our native prairie rose flower. The the cropland also of North Dakota, just a lot of different aspects that were tied into those shops and kind of made the roadmap. So I was able to deliver it at our pageant, and here we are today.
With the assistance of ND legendary North Dakota Tourism in the background behind you, would you please share with our viewers that speech and God Made North Dakota?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
At the end of the 8th day, God looked upon his planned paradise and said, I need a land to call mine. So God made North Dakota. A land with nutrient-rich soil that could support multiple crops, from corn to soybeans, sunflower, wheat, and potatoes, year after year. Miles of rivers would connect all corners of the state, bringing together fish, waterfowl, and fur traders. So God made the Red River Valley. He said, I want a place which will stay true to its roots, a protected land where native grasses can grow wild, like the purple coneflower or smooth horsetail grass. These generous prairies would be lush and stirrup high, so cattle ranchers could flourish on them during the summer months for grazing, while deer, antelope, fox, and rabbit would seek to it for shelter and food during the brisk winters. So God made the Cheyenne, Dakota, and Little Missouri National Grassland. He wanted this land to be fierce, so strong it could stop glaciers right in their tracks, but bold enough to hold thundering herds of bison, which could be witnessed carving 96 miles of the Maunahey Trail into the earth. If you listen closely, you can hear manes rustling with the wind and feel the powerful hoofbeats as the wild horses claim their freedom. Magnificent hills named the Painted Canyon would beckon the nation to come and behold their breathtaking beauty every morning the sun touches its soil. So God made the North Dakota Badlands. Now, this is no ordinary land built on hard work and high morals. It is only my favorite. God has continued to put a love for Western heritage in this little piece of heaven called North Dakota into my heart. So I'm proud and thankful to be in God's country, or what I know it as, home.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. You will always be Miss Rodeo North Dakota 2022. You are North Dakota legendary. Yes. You are. Thank you for your time. Thanks for all you've done for the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame and the great state of North Dakota. Thanks, Elise. We'll be back on Dakota Cowboy in just a moment, brought to you by our friends at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
At Service Basin Transportation, just give us a call to arrange transportation within our 7-county ridership. We serve a large area, including many towns, in the Magic City or even to the capital city, Bismarck. Door-to-door service for less cost of an Uber, Lyft, or taxi. For shopping, for dining, for doctor's appointments, for visiting. It's Minot's most convenient way to travel to Bismarck, within Minot, or anywhere within our 7-county region. Service Basin Transportation.
Welcome to the start of Main Street, the Main Medical Building located at 315 Main, downtown Minot. The unique shops inside offer body and mind healing, a safe haven for mothers-to-be, mixed martial arts, hair salons, massages, counseling services, and much more. Also keep a special lookout for a brand new Jamaican-inspired restaurant opening this fall. Take a stroll inside the Main Medical Building and uncover the unique shops and experiences that lay within. Discover the start of Main Street at the Main Medical Building today.
Hi, Rich from Law Motors. 45 years ago, Dad started selling cars. 35 years ago, I started selling cars. And 15 years ago, Tyler started selling cars.
And I'm Mom, and I told all of them, just be nice.
Whether you have guns, ammo, vehicles, toys, or collectibles, consign with Last Chance Auction and we can help put money in your pocket. Give us a call at 334-SOLD or visit lastchancesd.com for upcoming auctions.
Man has worked in sync with Mother Nature since the beginning of time. Relying on her to provide sufficient moisture every growing season is a roll of the dice. You can now insure your pastures and rangelands with Rainfall Index policy available from Chamley Financial. This will give you the peace of mind by knowing you will be protected from the adverse effects of Mother Nature. Contact Chamley Financial today, 719-338-3428, or go to chamleyfinancial.com.
JR's Auto Body and Truck Collision has built a reputation as one of the most reputable and reliable body shops in this region. With nearly 30 years in business, customers count on JR's to get it done right the first time. They'll work with your insurance company to smoothen the process. From their 40-foot frame straightening machine, Sickens paint, and the latest technology in the repair industry, they're the only name you need to know. For auto, semi, RV, and trailer repair, it's JR's Auto Body and Truck Collision, North Dickinson. Call 701-483-6778. JR's Auto Body and Truck Collision. For more than 70 years, farmers and ranchers have relied on Dickinson Ready Mix for all their concrete needs. Whether it's a shop building for machinery storage or paved feedlots for your livestock, grain bins for on-site grain storage, or precast pads for automatic cattle waterers, Dickinson Ready Mix has been there to provide quality concrete for all your agricultural structures and infrastructure. For your next project, call Dickinson Ready Mix to discuss the benefits that concrete can add to your operation.
Hey, we're looking for ideas for our next commercial. Thoughts?
We have a fully stocked lot. Cars, trucks, SUVs.
Clearly.
We strive for honesty, transparency, and a better buying experience.
Of course we do. Guys, think, everybody's busy. Nobody has time to spend hours shopping for a car. Has to be simple, easy.
Sales, service, simplified.
Perfect. Torgerson Auto Center, East Bismarck Expressway. Sales, service, simplified.
Thanks for hanging in there with us here on Dakota Cowboy on Beck TV, brought to you by Dakota Community Bank and Trust. Big thank you to Dale and his team at Dakota Community Bank and Trust for being a presence here on Dakota Cowboy, which allows us to do what we do each and every week. Thank you, Dale. Make sure you follow Dakota Community Bank and Trust on Facebook. Find their website at dakotacommunitybank.com. And they're just wonderful folks at Dakota Community Bank and Trust. And thank you for all your feedback on our program. So greatly appreciated. You telling us what you like about the show really helps us to do what we do again here at Dakota Cowboy. And it's time now for the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame Hall of Honorees Inductee of the Week, brought to you by Torgerson Auto Center on East Bismarck Expressway in Bismarck. There you will find this beautiful 2021 Dodge 3500 Bighorn 4-wheel drive crew cab long box dually. This baby is loaded. And Torgerson Auto Center can deliver to you on most of their inventory. Just give them a call at 701-751-5099. And our North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame Hall of Honorees Inductee of the Week this week is Miss Rodeo North Dakota 1982, Miss Rodeo America 1983, and she was inducted into the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame in 2017. As you heard Elise Burwell say earlier in the program, Brenda Lee Bonagowski Pickett was a judge for the Miss Rodeo America contest in 2022. We go back to the induction ceremony now in 2017 as Brenda Lee gives her acceptance speech as our latest inductee in the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame Hall of Honorees.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honored guest, Larry Mahan, your Rodeo Highness, wherever you are. That's what he told me to call him last night. And congratulations to my fellow inductees. It is so good to be back home. Since the inductees were announced last month, my family's had quite a bit of fun at my expense. Things like, hey, Miss Hall of Famer, or, you know, Miss Hall of Famer, those weeds aren't going to pull themselves, or my personal favorite, when I overheard my husband tell our friends, you know, I'm sleeping with a Hall of Famer. Aside from all the teasing, I began to reflect what this honor means, and I mean really means to me. And the word and the feeling that kept coming up was gratitude. Gratitude to be included, gratitude for family and friends, and gratitude to be born in the West. As I walk through the Hall of the Honorees and I read the names of the past inductees enshrined in the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame, I am completely and utterly humbled to be included in the company of women like Evelyn Newens, Virginia Eck, Sakakawea. It's almost beyond my comprehension. My own family has been represented in the hall when my cousin Jerry Weinberger was inducted in 2014. And I heard at his induction that he was rendered speechless. Now, if any of you know my cousin Jerry, that's pretty hard to believe. This is the man that when he learned I named my daughter Carson, told a crowd of people, "Oh, well, it's a good thing you didn't grow up in Flasher." Gratitude for the love and support of my family and friends, and without all of that, this would seem a bit hollow. I wish to thank my husband, Dee, and my beautiful daughter for allowing me to reign as their queen for all these years. Honey, this is where you're supposed to practice your queenie wave I taught you. I also want to thank my sister Heidi, and nephews Nick and Dom, who traveled all the way up here from Colorado. And I have to share with you that we really did abuse my sister at a young age by making her the chute help. She wanted nothing more to do with roping after that, and do you blame her? The outpouring of love and support from the family and friends that are here who've traveled so far, like the McGarvins and the Newans, means so much. I have 47 first cousins, and some of them have traveled as far today as Virginia, Michigan, and Washington to be here. The pride, the kindness, and the affection that my rodeo family and friends have shown has truly made this an honor. I think I speak for past and current inductees when I say this makes us all realize it's really not about us. It's about something much bigger than us. It's about something, honoring a lifestyle that we all love and hold dear to our hearts. And last, gratitude to be born and raised in the great tradition of our great state of North Dakota. Growing up, our family ranch was dead middle on the Heart River between the towns of Elmont and Carson. So having relatives in both communities, I'm a cross between the tough Norwegians of Elmont and the fun-loving Germans of Carson. And they say that youth is wasted on the young, and it was on me. As a 20-year-old, the enormity of the community support that I received was lost on me. I mean, we were in a recession in the early 80s, and times were tough for everyone. But my family and my friends made sure that I had a truck, trailer, and gas money to get down the road. 25 people from my hometown traveled all the way to Oklahoma City on a whim that we could win. And I know several of those people are here today. Wow. I would also like to acknowledge one other special person whom basically you could say is responsible for all of this. And when you look up the word lady, the word Kay Nelson's name would be included. She was one of our first Miss Rodeo North Dakotas, and she set the bar high for the rest of us. With class and steely determination, this extraordinary woman improves anything she puts her hands to, including me. As a 19-year-old college student working at Newen's Western Store, she virtually changed my life forever when she introduced herself and asked if I'd consider running for the title of Miss Rodeo North Dakota. Since then, I have strove to become what she saw and she encouraged in me. Besides that, has anyone here ever tried saying no to that lady? That dog don't hunt. Seriously, Kay, where are you? Where's Kay? Would you please stand up? Yeah. I want to say thank you for the bottom of my heart for all these years of support and love. Thank you. I would like to conclude by sharing with you parts of a speech that I gave in 1981 in Oklahoma City while I was competing for the Miss Rodeo America Pageant. It's how I felt then, and it's how I feel now. Ever and always, wrote Clell Gannon, a North Dakota poet, I shall love the land. And this also expresses my personal feelings about my state. For I've stood and I've heard the first sweet meadowlark of spring, and I've stood on the river bottoms of our ranch and listened to the wind go through the cottonwoods. I've ridden through the Badlands and I've felt the spirit of Teddy here, and I've seen the prairie roses blooming on the plains, with which seems a message direct from God. Dear friends, if you remember one thing of which I've spoken today, I hope that it is my feelings of gratitude. I wish to thank the trustees who nominated me, the board, Rick Thompson, and the countless individuals who unselfishly give of their time, effort, and resources to make the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame what it is today. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
Brenda Lee Bonagowski Pickett is married to world champion cowboy Dee Pickett. Dee Pickett is the 1984 PRCA World Champion All-Around Cowboy and World Champion Team Roper for that year as well. If you get an opportunity, go on YouTube and find the 2017 North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame induction ceremony, as our special guest that year was none other than Larry Mahan. And he and Dee Pickett had a pretty interesting rapport that day. It was so much fun to watch. And you can watch the induction ceremony in its entirety, and you can see Brenda Lee Bonagowski's speech once again. That's the 2017 North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Find it on YouTube. That's the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame Hall of Honorees Inductee of the Week this week. Again, brought to you by Torgerson Auto Center on East Bismarck Expressway in Bismarck. And we'll be back one more time here on Dakota Cowboy, brought to you by Dakota Community Bank and Trust. Thanks for watching.
Okay, we're looking for ideas for our next commercial. Thoughts?
We have a fully stocked lot. Cars, trucks, SUVs.
Clearly.
We strive for honesty, transparency, and a better buying experience.
Of course we do. Guys, think, everybody's busy. Nobody has time to spend hours shopping for a car. Has to be simple, easy.
Sales, service, simplify.
Perfect. Torgerson Auto Center, East Bismarck Expressway. Sales, service, simplified.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and in light of the recent events, your continued support means everything to myself and my employees. To thank you, we're having the biggest sale ever on all MyPillow bedding. Get MyPillow bed sheets for as low as $29.98. A set of pillowcases for only $9.98. In this economy, instead of buying a new bed, rejuvenate your bed with a MyPillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99. We also have blankets in a variety of sizes, colors, and styles, like plush, waffle, or gossamer, for as low as $29.98. We even have pet blankets from small size to the ones for your car. Get huge discounts on duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code and you'll get huge discounts on all MyPillow bedding, including MyPillow bed sheets for as low as $29.98. Get all your shopping in while quantities last. Please order now.
Hey y'all, it's Trent on the loose. I'm a sixth generation farmer, husband, patriot, father. And as much as I'd love to just sit here under this shade tree and celebrate my own place on my front porch, truth of the matter is that people don't know who, where, and how is producing their food. So travel the country with Trent on the loose, and we'll find those interesting human interest stories behind the people that bring us the efficient food supply. Trent on the loose.
The Wall of Honor pays tribute to local individuals from across the state of North Dakota. On digital indoor billboards, these heroes of the past and present are prominently featured with a photo, name, and their branch of service. Our funding is made possible by donations and advertisers like you.
As a veteran and as a board member, I couldn't think of a better way to help remember the service and sacrifice than celebrating and supporting the Wall of Honor.
Medora Boot and Western Wear open year-round in historic Medora. You'll find quality items for cowboys and cowgirls of all ages. Medora Boot and Western Wear has over 1,500 pair of boots on hand at all times. New this year, the R. Watson brand of boot, featuring an all-leather heel, riveted shank, and a 10-iron leather sole. Jeans, shirts, hats, caps, and more, and customer service is number one. Medora Boot and Western Wear in historic Medora.
Medora Boot and Western Wear.
Let the Little Missouri Saloon and Dining add to your historic Medora experience. Open 7 days a week. Enjoy family dining at its best on our main floor, as well as the upper dining room and outdoor patio with a fabulous view of Medora and the Badlands. Try the bison ribeye, delicious pizza, and an entire menu filled with fabulous food for all appetites. A full bar with an impressive list of tap beer and more adult beverage favorites. Visit us at littlemosaloon.com and look for live music events happening regularly. History lives at the Little Missouri Saloon and Dining in historic Medora. Y'all come see us now, you hear?
And we're back one more time here on Dakota Cowboy on Beck TV, brought to you each and every week by our great friends at Dakota Community Bank and Trust. Please try to attend our annual meeting coming up February 17th and 18th in Minot. On Friday evening, Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash will be there. My friend Dan Wagner's a great impersonator, and he'll have a lot of fun with us Friday evening. Saturday, our general meeting starts at 9 o'clock. That afternoon, we'll have testimony on behalf of the 2023 nominees for induction into the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. It's always a great event to attend as you learn so much about the rich history of the great state of North Dakota. We'll have information on our raffle at the annual meeting and information on membership as well. We encourage you to sign up as our newest member of the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame so we can preserve the history of the great state of North Dakota for generations to come. Along with your membership, you also get a copy of the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame newsletter, Cowboy Chronicles. Another way to stay on top of the latest news and information from the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. Find Dakota Cowboy as a podcast and a radio program. We air on radio stations all across North Dakota. There's sure to be one in your listening area. So that's all the time we have today for Dakota Cowboy. I so appreciate you tuning in each and every week. We'll be back next week with a brand spanking new program. Tell your friends about us and follow us on Facebook. Just look for Dakota Cowboy. I'm Wild Bill. Thanks for watching Dakota Cowboy here on Beck TV, brought to you by Dakota Community Bank and Trust. We'll see you in the future, if not in the pasture. Adios.
Whether you have guns, ammo, vehicles, toys, or collectibles, consign with Last Chance Auction and we can help put money in your pocket. Give us a call at 334-SOLD or visit lastchancesd.com for upcoming auctions.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and my employees and I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support. With everything going on right now, your rest is so important. That's why we're having the biggest MyPillow sale ever. Not only are my bed pillows as low as $19.98, but you can get the best body pillows ever. Regular $89.98, now only $29.98. Take your rest on the go with our Roll and Go Anywhere My Pillows for only $14.98. And we have our new couch and accent pillows. They aren't just for looks. They have MyPillow's patented adjustable fill that gives you that amazing MyPillow comfort. In this economy, you get the best gifts ever for the best prices ever. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code and you get deep discounts on body, couch, bolster pillows, and so much more, including my original bed pillows for as low as $19.98. Please order now while quantities last.
We are rewriting Hollywood script for our kids. I'm pop culture expert Tina Griffin, and as a former Hollywood actress, I'm giving you a behind-the-scenes look at how today's entertainment is eroding the foundational development of America's youth. and how to safely navigate this pop culture chaos. Knowledge is power. Parents want solutions. It's time to get the power back in your hands and reclaim the right to decide who and what should influence your kids.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV. Now you can have the personalized forecast at your fingertips when you need it. Beck's exclusive Weather Insight is information tailored to you. Radar, weather alerts, forecasts, and videos. Download the free Weather on Beck News app. Search your app store now.
Welcome to Ladies of Another View,
where we talk about issues that matter
and cover stories no one else will.
Catch us at 4:30 Central at Beck News and online at beck.news.